How are we there, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Smashing Crossbar Podcast. I'm your host, once again, Josh, joined by co-host, as always, Benno. How are you, mate?
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can chat hear me tonight before I rattle off for the next 5 minutes? I'm good, mate. How are you, mate?
Very good, mate. Another COVID day, just being an essential, getting to work, coming home. Got a couple of days off, so spend a bit of time with the young daughter.
I still have another 2 weeks off.
No, lucky. Not so lucky now. See, after 4 weeks of a 6-week period, I'd be going well and truly up the wall, I tell you.
Oh, trust me, I am.
There we go in the chat. Everyone can hear Benno tonight, so that's a win.
Magic.
Cheering. So pretty casual, pretty laid back tonight. Obviously the season's pretty much done and dusted. We are joined by Lawrie McKinna once again, Jets CEO, absolute legend. How are you, mate?
I'm really, really good. Not locked down, so I'm allowed out to play, and I've been out and about all day, so I'm good. Good finish the season. Good to be on here with Todd, Mr. Newcastle Jets. I'm honoured to be here, Todd. So thank you for letting me race these screens with you on. And I'm glad Rhonda had you the best dressed man at the last game of the season down at Cogra. You were looking sharp on Fox. Even Adam Peacock's pumping your tyres up.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much.
And that's exactly right. We are as well joined.
Here, Todd, so thank you for letting me race these screens with you on.
What are you doing?
As I said, once again, we are joined by, in my opinion, Jets' #1 fan. Should have a plaque if you haven't got one already. Todd Blackwell, how are you, mate?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on.
Nah, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. We've been hoping to get you on for a while. Obviously, talk a bit of bit of fanage. That's pretty much what tonight's episode's about. Obviously, the fans and obviously the involvement, and we know how hard it's been over the last couple of months of not being able to really get to the games, obviously in full, 10, 20,000 supporters strong. So,
Hey, Josh, it took a whole 3 minutes.
Whole 3 minutes? What happened?
A whole 3 minutes in chat. Have a look at it.
Hi, we hear you.
No.
What?
The other one, after Luke's.
Aaron.
A whole 3 minutes.
Aaron Fletcher, welcome. Yes. I'm not going to go there right now. I'll let everyone jump in and we'll get there. I'm not only going to ask it once because I know so many people are up and down about it, and I'm sure Laurie's heard 500,000 comments about it. So,
About what? Fill me in.
Me and Josh were having bets on how long it took somebody in the chat from after we went live to mention something about the new ownership. 3 minutes.
What's taking them as long? What should
be so long? So,
if I was a betting man,
just tell them we're going to Canberra. It's okay.
Dylan Smith, welcome. Look, let's start off there. There's a few people in here tonight, so we may as well get it under the way. Obviously, ownership. There was talk earlier on, and it's possibly fallen through. Is there anything happening? Is it gone cold? What's going on?
No.
Are you allowed to discuss any of it?
I know. There's definitely stuff happening. Yes, so definitely stuff happening. And I think there'll be a story in the Newcastle Herald tomorrow. We're definitely, under my watch, as long as I'm at the club will not be leaving Newcastle and going to Canberra or anywhere else.
Yep.
We had been approached maybe a couple of months ago to see if they were interested to take the club elsewhere, and the answer was no.
Mm-hmm.
So just to make that clear, there's no way, unless FFA came in and tamed the club and they put it elsewhere. But while we're in control of the club, there's no way the club will be leaving Newcastle. That'd be the last thing that you could do. So so we'll clear that up. There's definitely interest. Depending who comes in and buys the club, that will depend if the wishes of a lot of fans on Facebook to get Messi. It will depend how big their pockets are. No, there's some things definitely happening positive. It just when you want things to happen quickly, sometimes it just drags on. And I'd love to come on here in the next couple of weeks and just tell you it's all been done.
Yeah,
and that's a possibility.
Yep.
2 or 3 weeks, so everything could be rubber stamped and all done and move forward. it comes at a good time. We've came near the end. Well, we're at the end of our season. Unfortunately, we just missed out in the finals. But the form team of the last 10, 11 games under Carroll, we'd be sitting top of the league. So I think we're going in, new owners. Martin Lee definitely won't be the owner, and he's still there, and he's still speak to him weekly, but he'll definitely not be the owner for the next season. Hopefully we get this deal over the line, and we can move forward and helpfully resource Carroll, because it's a real difficult stage just now. I'm sure a lot of the fans know we don't know what the distribution is going to be for FFA. We don't know what the salary cap is going to be. Independent A League, when that's kicking in. So there are a lot of things up in the air, and when the season's going to kick off. And I reckon at the moment it's looking like beginning of January at the moment. They were talking December, but all the clubs need to have members in watching, need to sell season ticket holders, and we need to get supporters in the games. And the other big thank you for me is when we played the one home game that we were allocated in the last 4 games, we've had the biggest covert crowd. Obviously, the final will beat that at the weekend. We had about 2,600, and that's been the biggest one to date, which is fantastic. And we actually had somebody there with COVID. We had somebody at the game with the virus, which was a bonus.
Yeah, exactly right. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go into too much detail again about it. That's, again, guys, that's pretty much where we'll leave the whole ownership scenario. We've heard it here pretty well that Martin Lee definitely won't be the owner next season. As for the new owners, who knows? Hopefully sooner rather than later. And we'll move on from there. Dylan's popped up with a really good question that actually, I'm in Melbourne, so it makes it life hard anyway. But the award ceremonies. So a few clubs have obviously looked at doing live stream on Facebook, etc., which is a good way, obviously, to get the fans involved and everything else. What's happening there?
Actually, it's a great question, and I'll go on to that, and I'll let you know, because it's the last 2 months just getting the team ready and on the park to make sure it actually happened, and the rules and the protocols was absolutely a nightmare when you've got all the staff stood down as well on JobKeeper working 2 or 3 days a week. So it's not even been discussed, to be honest. So thanks whoever that is, because I'll bring that up tomorrow, because we'll have to have a player of the year. The coaches player of the year could be a bit hard. Because obviously we've had 2 coaches, but definitely we need to have some sort of award. So I will get back to you guys with an answer to that.
Well, there you go.
And
Dylan
I'll
Smith.
let you know well in advance that if you need any technical help or advice on that, you know where to find me.
Yeah, absolutely. Dylan Smith, well done, mate. That's absolutely great question. Which when it popped up, I'm like, that's bloody brilliant. Andy Wright, but thanks to Martin, shame it's been curdled by COVID. Absolutely right. There's Martin. He came in. He said, I believe it was 3 years. I think he said he gave us
4 years.
4 years.
4 years
to get to Asia and everything else. Yeah, 3 years I think it was. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. We did it after 2, and the only thing we ticked. He gave us 3 things, and it was to get in a grand final, qualify for Asia, and break even. Well, we did 2 of them. Right. We never broke even, and then obviously that affected the club when he stopped putting in the money. When he got affected, his business that got affected. But you're right, and every now and again I'll go on Facebook or Twitter and protect him, because if it hadn't been for Martin coming in, we'd have never had a grand final. We could have been gone. We might have been in Canberra by now.
I'm a big supporter of the fact that, I'm a big believer in the fact of if the supporters have anybody to blame, go and blame Donald Trump.
Yeah,
because it's the Chinese-American trade war that stops Martin getting his money out of China, and because of that, we suffer for it.
And he lost 50% of his business, because 50% of his LED went to North America. So without him, but hopefully we bring somebody in that's going to be great for the league, not just for us, but great for the league, that brings something for the league and positive, and people's going to go, he has to invest, has to buy money. You can't just expect everybody else to come in and chuck in money. We need to come to games, we need to buy memberships. I think next year the league will be a very young team. The getting players and families is going to be really difficult to bring in players with families. We're lucky we just managed to get Cal Robinson's family and Kenny Miller's families in, which was weeks and weeks and weeks. And we've just been notified again it's going to probably be near impossible to get families in. So you're not going to get foreign players coming here for 9-10 months and leaving their families at home.
Yeah.
So I would say there'll be a lot of young Aussie boys getting the opportunity, like Melbourne, Adelaide, these teams in that last round of games. A lot of good young kids were coming through. They were given a chance, and a lot of them took it.
Absolutely right. Who was it? Andy, I think it was. Andy's put in there maybe the CEO's Player of the Year instead of the coaches.
I think Joe Griffiths for being the manager of Hamilton Olympic next season.
God.
Joe's he's venturing into the dark side of coaching.
Yeah.
So for all these years when Joe used to, he came out and abused the national team coach for not picking him, now Joe will know what it's like on the other
place. I need to get him on just to tell him he's gone to the wrong club.
Yeah, so to me you've got I think you've got two seasons. You had the season under Ernie and the season under Carroll, because it was two different squads. One squad, you had a couple of boys doing well for Ernie, then the majority of the squad doing well for Carroll. So, but they were at the finish up there. You look at the back three, Katrumbas, who we all must admit at left fullback was pretty average. Played right stopper in the back three, outstanding. Topper Stanley, outstanding. Bogues, outstanding. Miller, same as he was steady all year. Bobby Burns left. Young Connor come in, probably not quite the same impact as Bobby getting crosses in. Stevie Gakovic left it to a different level, so did Thurgate. Roy was Roy picking up his goal. Arroyo, and Big Bernie came in and showed everybody what he could do in that last game, and it flashes in every game, and obviously we've tied him up for another year. So, there were a lot of pluses at the end of that season with basically the same squad. Yeah,
correct. Obviously, there's a few more questions in there for Lawrie. We'll get into them. Obviously, I want to have a quick chat to Toddy as well. As I said, number one Jets fan in my opinion. He's there pretty much at every training session. If you've been down to training and so forth, guarantee you've seen himself and obviously his young little pup, little dog, the Jets dog. So, how's everything been, mate? How's obviously all this, you're allowed out and everything now for COVID and everything else, but how have you been anyway?
Yeah, good. Yeah, no real complaints. Following a lot of local football.
Yep.
And the Jets, who are our NPL team, which is sort of NPL 2s now, I think.
Yep.
Went out and watched them play the derby the other day at Spears Point. That was a good game. Carl and Kenny were out there actually scouting younger players, maybe.
Yep.
I don't know. We'd have to check with our man in charge. They were doing a lot of looking, though.
And they're going down to Sydney this weekend to watch them play down in Sydney as well. So they're very much going to be involved with the academy, with the young kids, with the youth team. They're hands full on.
Yeah. When we had Carl and obviously Kenny on as well last week for the second time, Carl come out and stated that. He goes, he's all about the young blokes. He's all about giving the young blokes as much opportunity to prove themselves and everything else.
We only have to mention one name, don't we?
That's exactly
Davis.
Yeah. That's him.
Yeah. Say no more.
Say no more.
Exactly right. He probably wouldn't be where he is today without his chance. So, so obviously, you've been around the club for, since forever, mate. What drew you into the Jets? Love of football?
I sort of got disappointed the year Phil Stubbins was here. We had basically what I thought was a fringe Socceroo squad, and we weren't doing any good. And I thought, I've got a lot of time on my hand because of my disability, so I'll just wander over to train and have a look, see what I can work out for myself. And it's just gone from there. It's just kicked on from there. It sort of went from one day every couple of weeks to one day a week to what it is now, where some weeks I'm there most days,
Yep.
Sort of depends how I go back-wise. It can be 34 degrees and I can't walk. So that day I just sort of scrap it and catch up another day. But yeah, it's a phenomenal bunch of blokes from the top to the bottom and all the support staff, and been absolutely wonderful to me.
Yep.
I could tell you a story, but I won't. But basically, my family have been saved because of the Jets. I'll leave it at that.
No, absolutely, mate. What's some of the best things you've seen, obviously, from a supporter's point of view?
Having the grand final here is probably one of the pinnacles of what I think support's about, sort of thing. I'd like to see the F3 Derby be the premier game in the A League again. I'd like to see. Got a lot of good friends down the Central Coast, even though for 270 minutes a season plus hero time, I probably dislike them immensely. But I'd like to see that back to something that's really good. Back to the Lawrie days when he was coaching, where it actually meant something. But that could still come.
I think we just need Carl to tell Bogues just in the first 30 seconds, just run in and snap somebody's leg.
Yeah. I remember somebody getting told that.
Yeah, that was in the grand final. I told John Hutchison to go and hit Griffle. And like a good player, he did what he was told.
No, exactly right. Far out. That's classic.
I'm gonna ask Toddy the big question.
Yes.
Emerald, cinnamon, and white. Big yes or big no? Can we recruit another to the cause?
From what I've read in the last couple of weeks about where it started, and there was a group of guys in World War One, and that was their colours. I'd have to say bring it back. Yeah. Big fan of the story and how we ended up being emerald, cinnamon, and white. And
they just made the story up, Todd. They just made the story up. It's not real.
I figured with Lawrie on the podcast, I had to get that one in.
Well, I'll jump in a second, Todd. Seeing you've just made my blood boil talking to green and white. Celtic's out of Europe anyway, so that was a good thing.
Always.
Yeah. There's a bit of work been going on, so you just never know what's going to pop up in the new next year.
Yeah, for sure.
Did I show you them, Todd? Did I show you them, Todd, one day in the office? Did I?
Yeah. I just need to.
There's some top secret stuff going on.
Ooh. Right.
Yeah, I was
about to say it's gone from a hard no, Viva don't like the colours last season, to top secret stuff, and I'm just like, have we bucked the trend here?
Maybe it's not green, white, and cinnamon. Maybe it's white, green, and cinnamon, or something like that. So
as long as it's those three colours, I don't care what sort of a mix it is.
Well, that was one of the questions earlier. Was obviously, is there any talk of new kits for next season? So we'll leave it at that.
Of course.
And for a guy who does not like green, and I don't like your background on the camera, but it looks quite sharp.
That's only because you guys can see the green, but the stream can't because it's all disappeared out of the background.
Right.
Yeah. It's all green screen.
So some wishes could be granted.
Oh, happy days. Getting excited.
There you go.
You've got me excited. Toddy, I've got a few questions for you in regards to the Jets, past players and everything else. Who's the one player that's stood out to yourself, obviously, over the years, that still stands out? Maybe past or present. Well, past or present. Who's the one player for the Jets that...
I'm probably going to have to go with Jason Hockman.
Yep.
Fantastic story, fantastic bloke. Love him. He's just, super bloke to talk to. Was here and doing okay, and ended up getting shafted when everybody lost out, went to Melbourne. Come back, and I think basically he'll end up still playing for the Jets and playing for nothing in the end, the way things are going. I think he just loves the Jets and loves playing. But yeah, probably, if I had to pick one, it'd probably be him. But then, there's just been so many, and I don't. You probably couldn't pick. You'd be here all night, and I could tell you some reason why.
That's exactly right.
I don't know. That's just my fan thing. Like I follow a lot of them sort of once they've left the club and gone overseas. Keep in touch with them. So yeah, I've got a lot of really good mates that sort of, or who I consider to be mates that aren't here anymore, and playing for other clubs that are just, amazing blokes.
Yeah.
And give everything while they were here.
Yeah, that hashtag adopted football family.
Yes. Yeah.
I was going to say, you're definitely, you are that type of bloke who definitely goes down and will watch other teams play, just to obviously cheer on those guys that obviously were a part of the Jets, and obviously you've struck a good relationship with, and just as I said, absolutely good blokes. So it's great. It's great to see. You know what I mean?
I'd sort of like to see a lot more away fans come to Newcastle, and that's sort of part of my project to sort of portray. Like I got disappointed. I had a conversation actually with Hutcho a couple of times down at Gosford, and I got disappointed that he wouldn't actually bring his family up to Newcastle to watch his last F3 derby. I couldn't work out why. I thought that was something his family should have been here, and he said that basically he'd been given all but death threats about bringing his family, so he left him in Gosford, and to me that was criminal not to have his family here to support him in his last F3 derby game, because basically he was a lot of the F3 derby. Like without him,
100%.
And as bad as everybody thinks he is on the paddock, off the paddock, he's just a completely different bloke.
Me and Josh we managed to get a very, very quick 3-minute chat with him when we went and watched that Western United game in Geelong, Joshy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's caught up with Ivan.
Yeah, no, he's a great bloke, and as you said, Todd, absolutely. Again, on the field, it's what they do. You're gonna a Western United fan's gonna sit there and bag Boogs because he has to have Barisha in his pocket every time he plays him. Well, probably. But at the end of the day, he's a top bloke.
As we mentioned to them the other night, that's been happening long before they were even in.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Boogs just knows how to rattle Barisha's cage. It's always been like that.
Yeah. Well, actually, so that's I didn't really know that was the main reason why he didn't bring his family up and say, well, surely could have put him in a box or something.
Yeah, I was sort of.
Sorry?
Well, you sort of think he could get around it, but that was just his belief, and he sort of. That's what he stuck by, and I sort of respect him for his decision, but I just think that's a bit disappointing, that sort of thing. We've got not a family pass, but my two young adults and my wife have all got season passes, and they don't get used every week or every home game. So I've got a thing where I'll get in contact with some people from another team that I know. Sydney's coming up, and I know a couple of guys. I'll actually throw my season passes to get in as a goodwill thing.
Yeah.
Or I'll just turn up at the ticket gate if there's no one and just say, look, you're going in. I'm happy to get you in. Just next time you come to Newcastle, bring a few more people with you.
Yeah.
Not everyone here is a hillbilly, but I don't know. I'm not going all that well, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Lawrie, do you know anything about? Well, obviously you've had your fair share of time with Hutcho.
Hutch, Kate. I speak to Hutch every week. He's in Seattle. He's assistant coach over in America just now. And if you follow Kate on Facebook, she's not that complimentary to America and Donald Trump at the moment. And it's pretty hard for them over there. But Hutch, like me and Christine used to. When I was coaching the Mariners, if we weren't playing and the Jets were playing, me and Christine came up. Didn't matter if they were an F3 derby the week before, week after. We came up, we sat in the old wooden grandstand at the beginning up the back.
Yeah.
And we sat there and we chatted away to everybody. It was respectful. Everybody was respectful back, apart from two guys who used to always hammer me about the grand final after the grand final. And it was just funny. And one day when it was the Mayor of Gosford, we're doing a promo thing at Ray Watt. And the school teacher who was there with a bunch of kids, he was actually one of the guys who hammered me. I said, no, there were always these two guys. And even one day, Adamstown watching a youth team, I was standing in front of the tuck shop, Adamstown. They shouted, "Oh, McKinna, you don't need another pie. Look at the size of you, blah, blah, blah." He said, "That was us." He said, "That was me." So that was funny. But now, me and Christine, anytime we came up, we were always felt welcome.
Yeah.
Hutch, Kate would probably, when somebody's shouting at her husband, and I know my wife Christine's done it as well, when somebody's shouting something that's maybe hurtful, she would probably react and she'd probably get herself in trouble. So you're better sometimes staying away. And I know my wife's done it as well. People abusing me, and so she'll have a go, and you just never know how it can go. So Kate is very much like that. So she'd be better safer at home. Rather than
that's sort of basically what he said, sort of thing. I don't think it was a total bad thing, but he just thought it was a better option because his kids were a lot younger then.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah. His daughter was probably only 4, and sort of to bring, this is going back a few years. But I sort of respect him for his thought. But like I said, it just disappointed me that they didn't actually get, and then he didn't get on anyway. He sat on the bench, and Phil Moss wouldn't let him on, would he? Which I thought was even worse.
You'd think being on the pitch would be the safe part because he's like right in the middle of the action where the fans can't get to him. If he's sitting on the bench, he can at least try and throw things.
I remember they got a few coins. I remember over in the corner where the squadron was. He picked up. He got more bonus picking up the coins than he did pay. and credit to Hutch, he just got on with it, and he bent down and carried on. He was picking up the money and put it in his pocket.
But that's top banter. That is.
That's perfect.
That's top banter.
Exactly.
That's like us rocking up to a Mariners FA Cup game here in Melbourne, nothing but jet ski.
And we gave it to him.
We gave it to the coast. And that was Liam Boland scored that perler for bloody Green Gully.
That's like going to the FFA Cup game with Adelaide the Mariners and running up the stair with a big flag.
I was going to say. We've all done it.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
We've all thrown some banter at them at the FFA Cup, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Andy Wright's popped in here. One for Todd. As a supporter, VAR good or bad?
No, bad. Out. VAR out.
Gone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't like it.
Tend to agree with you.
Yeah, no, as Lawrie was saying before, the refs have done a pretty good job, and as I said, at the end of the day, people make mistakes. They were doing it 100 years ago, so what's the difference now?
Yeah.
There's no need for it, as far as I'm concerned. Another one.
Dylan comes in with a really good one.
Yeah.
Any insight into what broke down with Wes? Was it just the impacts of COVID or the struggle of getting him back into Australia?
No. So when he went home, his wife's pregnant, so she's due the baby in October. It was more the family thing getting him back. It wasn't the virus thing. It was getting her back. The plan was he was going to come back out. That was the plan. But then Cambridge, who had wanted to sign him before we got him, they came back to him and said, "Look, we're keen." And then it was just a family thing, getting back out here. Can the families actually get out? The stuff I was talking about earlier.
Just too much of a risk.
He messaged me last night. He was watching the games last night. He said, "I'm missing this." He really loved it here, and he was just checking. He just sent a message, checking everything's okay. How's everything going at club? How's the boys? Tell everybody I'm missing them. And he said, "I'm missing this," and it was a picture of the Sydney FC game last night. And so Wes will always be a fan of the clubs, a fan of Newcastle, and a fan of the A League. And regarding what happens with Joe Ledley, if he comes back or doesn't come back, you've got two boys who are legends in the game in the UK and who are just saying nothing but nice things about Newcastle.
Yeah,
Hey? Serial pest has arrived.
The serial pest, we've got plenty of them. Now, Vandy's in the chat, I'm guessing.
No, the big one.
Yeah, Vandy's in the chat. Vandy's come to hammer home. Obviously, I've got one quick one. What do we got here? Where'd it go? The deal with Boogs. Are you able to tell us if it is any closer to being finalised?
I think Joel and him were talking yesterday, so it was going back and forward yesterday, I think. So Joel, I think Cal spoke to Bogues and Joel spoke to Bogues a couple of times. So there's definitely discussions going on.
Yeah.
about Bogue because he finished the season so strong. The back three definitely suits him because he's got the pace of Topper Stanley. Although Topper's one of the old ones, he's one of the quickest. Trimbus is one of the quickest as well. So that formation definitely suits him. So at the moment they're in talks. So the Griff. So there's still Carroll wants to keep him. So we'll just see what happens. And then it goes back to salary cap and squeezing everybody in, all that stuff.
Yeah, Vandenberg's just popped in saying, Todd Blackwell, what's it like being Newcastle's greatest ever supporter?
No, I'm not. He is. Sydney's the furthest game I can go to. Vandy's their absolute legend of the game. Would never have that he's not the top fan.
I just want to know how the two years got into our last game. That's all I want to know.
Oh,
I didn't know
Vandy
got in, but I knew that Toddy got in.
Two of them were there.
I didn't see Vandy on the Fox Sports coverage, but I did see Toddy pop up, and I'm like, oi, because me and Josh were on the phone when it was happening. I'm like, oi, Toddy got in.
Vandy's actually done the runner downstairs to get his mandatory post-game selfie with Ando. He was sort of hanging over the balcony 2 seconds before Ando, and going down the stairs. So, ended up didn't getting on the Fox telecast. But he was downstairs with Ando getting that. Post the selfie, Matt, so we can see it.
The bromance, mate. The bromance. I wasn't there, just Todd, only the greatest supporter ever.
I won't have that. Nah. Actually, I'll find it now. I'm going to go find it for him.
Oh, he's going to get outed.
I've actually seen it.
He's getting outed here. Who wasn't there?
I've seen the picture.
What do we got? With James Donaghy.
Because I remember
Yep.
he sent an Instagram post saying to his mum that he's sorry he had to break COVID, but he could actually get in to watch his team play. There's that one as well. He was definitely there.
You've been outed.
If we could travel interstate, I think we would.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, if we could move more than 5 kilometres from our house, we would.
Yeah. Lawrie, your thoughts on James Donaghy? What can we expect? What can the fans expect from him next year?
Yeah, he's obviously a big old-fashioned centre forward. Good on the ball. Good leader on the park. And he's I think 27.
Mm-hmm.
Been at Victory, went overseas, didn't work out, came back. He's still got aspirations of going overseas. We've got him in a 3-year deal. Carl had looked at him when he was at Vancouver. He actually had looked at him quite a few years ago. So, and Carl, because he's watched a lot of the A League over the last few, he knew what players he wanted. So Donaghy, he was in Newcastle last week, maybe this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or he was up all weekend, Friday to Monday or something. After the Victory's last game, he came up that weekend and he went round about looking at houses, looking at flats, just getting to know the place because he's always liked the place. So the big man will be up here probably September sometime. The boys are looking to be back October for training. So the big man he'll bring a bit of presence there as well. And obviously Lockie Jackson's injured until he'll be back full training like December time, but actually match fit it could be February by then. So so we don't have a lot of cover, and that's why Bogues, the boss is keen to get Bogues back. Katrimbis is the boys are doing well. So we've no real cover without Bogues.
Newcastle Jets news. You did hear correctly. We've signed him as a striker.
Is that Mr. Vandenberg? Because he scored the hat trick at the weekend, I think.
No. When you started it, you classed him as a centre forward, not a centre forward, not a centre back.
Sorry.
I was about to say, well, if his last couple of games for Victory was anything to go by, he was one of the most experienced. He was one of the more experienced players on the park, and he had an absolute blinder in his last couple of games with the young kids.
Yeah.
But the sad part was when I was getting messages from my mates after that game who were Victory supporters going, "When did you sign Donaghy?" So they're slightly worried he's leaving the Victory as well.
Yeah.
No, well, he is definitely leading victory.
It's done, did. Lawrie,
Jaden needs to start. Your mum's here.
Oh, very good. Mum's here, is it? Jaden needs a
Yeah,
start.
Jaden needs to start.
I've already told you, Mum. You need to get him out to the Jets Academy. He's going to score goals for bloody days. That kid. Lawrie, how have you seen Carl's influence on the club, both on and off the pitch?
Well, I think any time you see him on an interview on Fox or NBN, Newcastle Herald, he's just different class. He's open, nothing's hidden. He says how it is, no bullshit, no song and dance about it. The Fox guys, I notified the Fox guys he was coming down the game on the weekend. They said he wanted to do an interview. Oh, that'd be great. So he done that little interview. He's very open with all that stuff. Being in the MLS, obviously, they are a lot more open than a lot of the coaches. But when I deal with FFA, they just say he's different level. His involvement with the Zoom hookups, and he says different level. You can see on the part the response he's had for the boys. Like some boys who weren't doing well before, all of a sudden, they're world beaters. He's got people believing it. And you watch, I think that goal against Western United, the one just before half time, 23 passes or something. You know.
Yeah, it was mental.
Knocking the ball about the back, confident, and sometimes I'm like, oh Jesus,
that's risky.
That's a bit tight. But he's got them playing with belief. He's got everybody playing with belief, and he's a coach's job's to make players better, and he's made players better. And I think he's just going. And I just think if the squads do go very young, and some experienced players go, I think we'll be in good stead because he's a good coach and he'll coach players and make them better.
He's even great at rounding up backroom staff. Apparently, he's offering Josh a job as a scout.
I'm still waiting for the contract. He said he was going to speak to you and then get it sorted and sent to me. So.
Yeah,
I was about to say, how long was it ago we interviewed Carl? 3 months?
Three months ago. Yeah, 3 months ago. I was just trying to offer him up some, players and Reegs and so forth.
Because Reegs wanted to come back.
Well, he's got plenty of players because he's got 6. It's costing us a fortune, and it's costing us a fortune in whiteboards. He's got 6 whiteboards going about his office, so you can't get a whiteboard in the place. They're all in his room.
Bloody hell! We had Kenny on last week. He's still itching for a 10-game guest in. He's
itching.
Nah, he's in good nick. He joins in now. He was joining in now and again at training, and
he's fit.
He's fit. He's keen, and I know he was thinking about doing the NPL gig, but I think he went to watch Edgeworth and Western, and the field wasn't in great nick, and he looked at it and went, you know what? I don't know if I need to play in this. So
I think some of the cow paddocks back in Scotland are a little bit more well dressed.
Yeah, just a little bit better cow paddocks over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too easy. FIFA Axel, how you going, mate? Who's the next academy lads coming through?
They had about 5, 6 in the bubble with the first team.
Yeah.
The young Archie, I'm trying to think Archie's second name, Todd might know, the wee boy with the ponytail that was in with the academy. And the boy Lucas.
Thomas Beecham?
No, Beecham's going to America. He went to America last week.
All right.
The Lucas, the young boy for Canberra who came up, he got in the Australian
Lucas Moragas.
Yeah, he got in the Australian under-20 squad with who do you call him? We Noah, but then the camp get cancelled because of COVID. That was going to be at the end of the month, and that got cancelled.
Yeah.
So Lucas is the one that's going to come through. Young Archie's probably, Carol was talking about him a few weeks ago, and he's probably a year away. Shut that. That's right.
He's on mute. The stream can't hear him, but we can.
Oh, I can hear him.
Bloody child.
Yeah, we can hear him, but the stream can't hear him.
I was going to go up and shut the door there.
Bloody child.
Get myself.
Bloody kids.
Yeah, so there are a few boys. There are a few boys there, and obviously Jack Simmons. He's been on that fringe for a wee while now. He needs to kind of step up this year. Like, he's definitely got the ability. You just have to have that desire, because he looks that casual, but that's just how he is. But he just needs that wee bit more intensity, and that boy could be anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the other one, obviously, it's been going around in the chat here is the whole Dimmy scenario. How long had that been sort of in the talks for? A while?
It was a few. No, it was a while. It was in the break. It was in the break, and there were some rumours, and it's the same. As soon as there's a break, everybody's always depends when a league opens up. They're starting to look for players. So he flew out with the wife and the kids, I think Sunday or Monday, and he was in Dubai for a few days because of the COVID stuff. He had to do another test. He had the test before he left, the test in Dubai, and I think he arrived in Saudi Arabia today. So he's to get his medical over the next few days. But so Dimmy, a lot of people didn't know that he had a small injury in the break, and that's why when he came back, a lot of people went, Dimmy's on the bench, because he wasn't fit.
Yeah,
he wasn't match fit, and that's why he only started in the last game, because he was working his way back to fitness. So, but people say, somebody asked me today, how do you replace Dimmy? And I said, well, players come and go, coaches come and go, CEOs come and go. It's just somebody else. So you look, when Carroll changed the way they played with 2 number 10s. They played with Fitzy and Bernie there behind Roy. And how good was that when you had the 2 wing backs and you had those boys playing, instead of playing 2 holders and one's number 10. And Big Bernie can play through the middle, he can play wide, or he can play in that behind row, same as Fitzy. Like, Fitzy came on leaps and bounds under Carl, Before that, he would always show glimpses, but he wasn't scoring the goals. Now he's scored. Is that him scored, I think, 3?
Yeah, it was 3 since the restart.
3 and 5, because he scored the Melbourne City. So maybe in 5 games he scored 3 goals. So Fitzy's got that. He's got that belief, and that's all he needed. He just needed somebody to give him that belief that he could finish. And so I think we've got. It's not about what we'll miss with him, because I know he's up there with the most assists, and I know the year before he had the most crosses and stuff, but I felt at times we were crossing for the sake of crossing. Yeah. We didn't actually have bodies in the box at the time. So we wish Dimmy's been good for us. We got him for Brisbane. We made 150 grand on him.
Yeah. Before he even kicked the ball.
Yeah, before he'd even been in Newcastle, he went. We got the money for Korea. He came back to us. Good deal, and we'll get a wee bit of transfer fee if it all goes through. And with the salary cap, because Dimmy was on decent wages, with the salary cap getting cut, you can't have too many top end players, unfortunately. So,
I think Kenny was mentioning to us as well last week when we spoke to him. It's like, well, it's really supposedly up. It's really up to Carl, and that he'll discuss with Carl. It's whether they go for a like for like replacement, or whether they modify the formation, and me personally, I'd go with maybe not a like for like replacement after seeing Bernie come in from when we got him in, especially in the restart as well. Watching Bernie Abini play at the Jets from the restart to how he was playing when he was at the Coaster at Sydney, he's a completely different player now. Like, he used to be that down the wing, like winger, up and back. But what I did notice is when Carl was playing him, he was very, very good at dropping in between the midfield and behind the strikers, and being creative in that sort of area there to link up without really having to push wide to do it. And he'd cut more on the inside and run at defenders a hell of a lot more.
Oh, because he had Matty Miller as a wing back outside. He just runs for fun.
Yeah, and the only reason the couple of times that I did see him drift wide, he was taking 2 or 3 defenders with him as well. Yeah. So he's creating space through the middle.
Yeah, and you just saw the way he run past people. He's just a beast. He's a big.
He's a massive unit now too.
Yeah, huge. He's looked after himself, and as long as you can manage his wee injury, because he had that operation in his ankle. And our staff's aware of that, so he gets looked after games and that, and he's such a good boy. I signed him at the Mariners many years ago, gave him his debut 2010. My last game as coach over in Wellington. We travelled and somebody got injured or sick over there, and we flew by on the end of the day of the game, and he come off the bench that day, made his debut over in Wellington, 2010.
There you go. Andy's popped in. Who's Todd's pick for the next good thing out of the youth system?
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen a lot of them. Like the game I went to the other Saturday, a couple of weeks ago, a lot of blokes there I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and I sort of haven't got to training a lot to see those guys. Like when they played in the NPL in Newcastle, I used to spend a lot of time at training. I knew, like most of them firsthand. There's guys there that you sort of think, I don't know who they are. I'm going to have to check up, and you got to go start taking photos of team sheets, like the sign-on sheets. But there's guys there I don't know. So, yeah, I probably couldn't comment there on who. And then you've sort of got guys, there's 3 or 4 of them there that were actually just sitting in the stands because Costa and Mackie Petrados actually got a game the other day, and I'm not sure that's how things work, but I'm not sure how. So there's a guy there that plays left back. That's he played for Australia with Noah.
Connor?
He was actually sitting on the bench. No, I can't. Brain dead. But he's a dead set goer, and he's played for his country. It's sort of, but it's just whether he's been injured for a while too. I'll have a look. I'll get back to you. I've got my iPad here. I'll have a look and check his name.
Bailey Wells is another young one.
Yeah, he does well. Yeah,
attacking midfield, scores a few goals. So really slight boys. He's built like Pinky manners.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Actually, Dylan comes in with another very good question off the back of the Dimmy transfer one, and that's with Dimmy's move overseas. We know how tight he is with the rest of his family. With that being finalised, do we lose the other Petrados boys and Punter?
No. The Carol Kenny and Dan Beasley, they're keen to keep Costa and Dimmy, and not Dimmy and Mackie. And I think they showed in the games. Obviously, Costa got the goal. He just about got as the winner down at the Central Coast, but obviously Berrigetti had a unbelievable save. He didn't know much about it, but he had a great save. So we're just waiting with this salary cap stuff. But the two of them will be offered the two of them have been offered new contracts, so they'll stay. And with the W League at the moment, nothing's really been mentioned about the W League.
Yeah.
But I think,
which in my opinion is very sad.
Yeah, it's just everything's been about getting the A League up and going.
Yeah.
So, but I'm hearing that the A League could be, the W League could be starting after the A League starts in January. Then it might look to get it going, but it's kind of unclear yet. But I would say they're definitely, because they're talking about the W League being in the, for the salary cap stuff in the distribution. So it's definitely going to happen. It's just when it's going to happen.
You're making up a shandy there.
I'm just making myself a cup of tea. I'm going to die out. Usually Christine looks after me, but I was going to die of thirst there. So I'm multitasking, and who says men can't multitask? So thank you, you guys. I've made my beloved wife. I might actually show up.
No, there she is. There she is.
I think you should get Christine on one day and say, "What's it like living with an idiot?"
That'd be
It's the
laugh.
You should get her on October. The 3rd of October is their 40th wedding anniversary.
Oh, here we go. Jot it down.
Yeah, jot it down.
So get Christine McKinna as guest.
Absolutely.
What's it like to be a football widow?
You know what? We'll get mine on and ask the exact same question.
Far out. Toddy, what are your thoughts on Noah James? Obviously, he's definitely someone that the Jets, definitely someone that the Jets fans have obviously wanted to see for a while, get his chance. Obviously struck with
Yeah,
injuries
he's,
and everything else. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. No, he's a super young bloke and so loyal to Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'm sort of rapt that he actually got his chance, because he's sort of been offered gigs outside, but he's sort of still super committed to sort of staying here with the club.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've sort of supported him for a lot of years, sort of back when he was probably 16. I think it's probably the first games that I went and saw him play, and right through he's sort of been A1 sort of thing. It's just, you got so many, probably like a goalkeeping thing, sort of more 27, 28-year-old before you get a chance upwards. You look at your Reddies, none of them are young blokes. So hopefully the club sort of hang on to him, because I think he's a prospect for the future.
Yeah, I think he's definitely showed obviously what we can expect him to do. Obviously, come on and bit of luck. Let's be honest, one off the shoulder and one off.
Yeah,
one off his nose.
But at the end of the day,
I've sort of seen him play in games though, and he's been superb. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe throwing him in at the deep end was a bit much for him to start with. But like I said, you got a bit of luck, and then you just kick on from there. And like some of the couple of saves in the second half were just, he's a freak.
Yeah.
But,
after watching that game, I did notice that the back three were very hesitant to give him possession of the ball in the first half, but they sort of like let him have it again in the second half. It was almost like, here's your 45 minutes of running. You know what to expect now. We've had a couple of close calls. Let's play you in now. Let's play you in.
But we were getting mauled. Like, I thought that was going to turn into a bloodbath there for a long time, and just, held them out, bit of luck, and just kicked on from there. So, but yeah, played well in the end and deserves his chance. And I was sort of hoping he gets signed as a second or third. We're looking for another goalkeeper.
It's still up in the air whether he'll be the number 2 or the number 3, because obviously Lewis came in and did very well. He did. He commands the box, brave. The one thing about Lewis that I never realised was how brave he is, because he puts his head in there, and he's never held down that spot at clubs. He's had his go, but this could be his time now. He's done very well since getting his chance.
Let's be fair, he's at that right age. He's at that 27, 28 sort of area where it's in prime time now, after sitting on the sidelines at Wellington for so long.
He's taken it. He's working very hard. So he's, I think it's good for him. It's his time now to step up and take it, demand it. This is my jersey.
Yeah.
We'll have a quick look on the Facebook side of things here. Lockie Ma, our good old stretcher bearer friend here, has come in with, "Hey Lawrie, I'm happy to pre-sign a contract for 2036 for Nate to sign as a striker."
I've saw the wee man. On Facebook. I see the wee man every day on Facebook. He is decent, and he's. I just don't know if I can make the commitment to 2036. So we can maybe do a pre-contract, Lockie.
a pre-contract.
Yeah. Sign a bit of paper for another 10 years, and we'll sign another bit of paper. Lewis was exceptional in the YPL games he played last season. There you go.
Yeah.
You're right. I've got one for you, Lawrie. We spoke about it at the start of the season when you were on in regards to Arroyo, where you said that obviously he's super quick, you can expect those balls over the top and, see magic things. Do you think we've seen the best out of Arroyo?
No, definitely not.
No.
So 2 things. I don't think we played them well enough as a team, especially when Ernie was there at the beginning.
Yeah. I was going to say Carl's a bit different.
And so Carl's different because Arroyo was making runs, and you like making a run from right to left, and Johnny Katrumbas couldn't knock a long ball with his left foot. So he couldn't get, when teams were playing a high defence, he couldn't get the ball in behind. And I don't think he's ever been coached. He's just been a raw talent, and it's that understanding. So I definitely don't think we saw the best of him.
There's also that language barrier too as well.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that last week.
And it was the same when he was on he was on what do you call it? He was in the COVID break. Like, I don't think he went out of the house. He never spoke to anybody.
Poor bloke.
Far out.
But you know the good thing?
He's a free agent now, and we can sign him under the cap.
No, Christian's saying don't. So he left the car. So he went back. He's away to New York to see his girlfriend. So I emptied his bag in the office, taking all the stuff out, a bit of rubbish, some toilet paper, kitchen rolls, stuff that was all. So that's where it was all going. It was going to his house when nobody could get it in Woolies. and there were a watch. There were a watch at the bottom of the bag. I went, shit, he's left it. This watch must be broken. So I've chucked it up in a cupboard in the office. Came in the next week. Deansy said, "Whose watch is that?" I said, "It's Arroyo's." Said, "It's shit itself. It's not working." I said, "I think it's one of the ones you have to have in your wrist to make it work." Yeah, so I put it on. So I've got a new watch that's working, and it looks quite good on me. And Christy went on the internet. It's worth $700. So Arroyo, thank you very much. I hope you're watching, and you've no chance of getting it back. So there's no chance we're going to sign them for next year because you want the watch back.
Oh, far
So he must have thought he broke the watch, and he must have had it off for a few weeks or something. And then, so thank you, Royal.
I was about to say, is he still here or is he going back?
No, he went back about 2 weeks ago. He went back. His girlfriend, he came out for a few months before COVID. She was in New York, so he's made a real good decision to go back to New York. I think there are only about 30,000 people a day getting the virus.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. What was going to say here? Mickey O'Neill. Mickey O'Neill.
He came in. We signed him for the 4 weeks.
Yep.
Carol saw him the last week and a bit when he got out of isolation, but he never featured in any games. He'll go back to Rockdale in the Premier League, MPL. Yep. You know, he was given a chance, and the boys, like, he fitted in really well with the boys. He did everything right, but Connor O'Toole, when Bobby left, he made that spot his, and I think Hoff filled in a couple of times off the bench in there as well. So, yeah, Mickey, it was John Hutchison that had recommended him to me because he had him when he was at the Mariners. And I knew the boy because I used to call the games then on radio, and I used to see him every home game. And, you know, he's a decent player and a good boy, and he fitted in really well with the boys, and he enjoyed his time there. But unfortunately, at the moment, Carl's told him that he'll keep an eye on what he's doing, but at the moment, there's no spot for him.
Yeah. No, and that's football, and he knew that coming into it, signing a short-term deal, and hopefully he goes back and, rips in and gets another contract somewhere, if not back at the Jets. What do we got here? Aiden, good one. Claire Wheeler departed the W League off-season. Any news on new or potential W League signings in the W League?
No, because we've not actually got a coach either at the moment.
Yeah.
So, and because it's been it's all been quiet about it, it's just not been at the forefront. So if it's going to start in January and we don't know that, you know, we've got time to start doing that. But if any clubs are going to come in and offer more money to the girls,
absolutely,
she works in Sydney as well, so she's got a job down there.
Yeah,
she's going to a big club. You know, you can't blame her. You can't blame the club for letting her go.
No, absolutely not. As I said, we've been lucky enough, obviously, to have a few of the girls on, sort of during COVID, obviously, and as I said, good chat, and obviously
we had Tara on.
Had Tara and bloody who else do we have on there? Bloody
we had Riley from.
We had Riley. Well, she was at the Jets before she went down to City.
Yeah,
and it was good. It was good, just obviously talking to them, obviously, in regards to what it's like being in W League and
just the W League contract situation.
Oh, well, yeah, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say obviously we've got a good insight to obviously what it's like. The difference, obviously, between when you've got all this money from like City and, as Riley was saying, the standard down there is just ridiculous. But again,
it's another level.
It's another level, but it is what it is. But the other thing, as Ben brought up, was the whole contract situation. What's your thoughts on the whole contract situation? So we were told that it's roughly, what was it, Ben? 4 months?
4-month deal.
4-month contracts.
Oh, is that for the girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 21 weeks, 22 weeks. So maybe it's 5 months. So that's for the beginning of pre-season training. Some of the girls come in a bit later than that, but it's basically a 4 or 5 month season.
Months, yeah, it's crazy. Like we were talking to them about possibly, is there stuff they could do obviously while they're around, doing school stuff, clinics. I have no idea.
Well, what we were sort of discussing is sort of the viability of maybe signing them on like even a 12-month contract where they play for like 4 and go out and do academy stuff at the schools and stuff, but they're still contracted by the club, or to fit them into other areas like doing, training them in other areas.
In saying that the money as well may drop. Obviously not plain, but
the wage, everybody goes on about W League is growing and we get good support for our W League, but when it comes to sponsorship, stuff like that, it's like it's not even on the screen what we actually get. So we get money for FFA. We get that as part of the grant to cover the minimum wage for the girls. And the last year, that's basically all we spent. We didn't spend much more than that. And we're competitive in a lot of games, but until basically if we put more money as a league into the W League, it's going to be taken away for the A League at the moment. That's how tight things are. Yeah. So it's just weighing things up. Obviously, we've got the World Cup in 3 years, which is going to be huge and good for Newcastle.
Which is a good thing in a way for even the W League, because you think that because of that, you'd think that you might get a little bit more interest in sponsorship for the W League side.
No, definitely will. That'll definitely get bigger, and we love when the girls play at number 2. The crowds we get, the atmosphere that generates down there, it's perfect. Rather than being in 2 hours before our game, and then counting the crowd was in there 80 minutes at the 80th minute. So 3,000 at the game, where they're not there. Where we can get 1,500 people at number 2 to 2,000, and I reckon if we had quite a few games there, you would be able to get that up to 2,000 to 3,000 people. Yeah. Whereas you look at some of the standalone games down in Melbourne City, and that it's 200, 300 people go and watch them.
Correct.
So we're actually our crowd members, and it's a different. You go to the games, it's a totally different crowd as well. It's a real good atmosphere when you go there to number 2.
Yeah. I was going to say, Toddy, I haven't really been to much of the W League, obviously in Newcastle at obviously number 2, and it's obviously been down here and everything else. Obviously,
we catch them when they're on double headers down here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every time they're down here, or if they play before the boys, Ben and I definitely go down, jump, and go watch the girls instead of sitting back having a few more beers. But what's it like? What's it like? Obviously, supporting the girls, obviously at a venue, like that compared to say Energy Australia. What's the vibe like?
Oh yeah, no, it goes off. Number 2 sort of definitely their spot. They've had a couple of. They've done a gig with. The Greater, who's their sponsor for the end of the season a couple of years back, and I think there was close to 2,000 there. There was 1890 or something there, and it was sort of really good, and it's sort of more a family atmosphere. There's a lot more mums and kids there, and really good though. It's sort of disappointing. I go back sort of a few years, and we had a chance. We're going to try and break the crowd record for a W League. Western Sydney were up here, brought a whole pile of fans up, and they were playing at Magic Park, Wanderers Oval at the time, and we sort of had a good crowd in, but it wasn't amazing. There might have been like 800 odd people, and the RBB come walking in, had a look at the end, and just walked straight back out again. But like if they'd committed to say, right, we're going to stop having those couple of beers sort of thing and actually come and watch the girls' game, there was a chance we would have broken the standalone crowd record easily. But it's just, there's since they've moved to number 2, I think there's a lot more support, like all-in support. But it's a good place, and I just hope they sort of. The only thing, having worked for the council for 29 years in another life, I know how slack they are, and it's just a shame that the paddock, like the stand and the facilities, I think are really good, but the council being a rear shirt sponsor should perhaps lift their game a bit and do
Very
something
true.
with the paddock, because
That's
sort
the
of
rugby,
the
that's the rugby union, Todd.
first, it is.
It's a rugby union, and then when they finish in September, they actually, to be fair, they work their arses off to get it ready for us. It's just butchered.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's just a shame that the first 6 games of the season we can't actually play our home games there because of the condition of the grass. But yeah, that's the thing. The rugby just tears it to pieces. But the council just, I don't know. I'll stay out of it.
There's a simple answer to that.
What's that?
Get rid of the rugby.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, obviously, on the men? Then, obviously, do you feel they should be playing probably some more games, obviously at smaller venues? You know, we know what it's like. Obviously, when you go to Energy Australia, you're getting maybe 5,000 to 6,000 on on an average, if it's an odd sort of game. A few more regional games throughout this year, Todd. Do you think, or you happy?
Yeah. I sort of. Well, they tried the experiment here, playing the NPL Grand Final at Energy Australia, and only got like 3,000 to 4,000 there, and you're paying for all the backroom security, everything like that. They lost a lot of money on trying to run games there, and it was for the greater good sort of thing. It was a chance to give NPL players a chance to play on a first, top level surface sort of thing. But the amount of money they lost, I think, as a stand over the other side at number 2, so you could sort of double the amount of people in there and look at it as a 4,000 to 5,000 would be perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of something that Newcastle sort of using, like an FFA Cup thing.
Yeah.
So
they
last
do a similar
year,
thing here.
Yeah.
The NPL, the Melbourne NPL down here gets played at AB Park, the finals.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That'd be a disappointment too, sort of thing.
Correct.
Yeah, it's pretty cavernous.
Yeah. Sort of. But how many people, like we played an FFA Cup game at Jack McLaughlin last year, I think, wasn't it? They got nearly 4,000 people there, or just over 4,000.
Yeah, that was the edgy one, yeah.
Just over 4, 4.5, 4 floors.
Yeah.
And the one end of the park you can't sort of occupy. Like, it was going off. It was sort of amazing to have that amount of people. But I think we sort of need more stand area. Like, basically, Jack Mac's got nothing. It's just grass either end. They didn't put stands in, but to get that amount of people in that sort of atmosphere in a ground like that's just phenomenal. It's just amazing. I've sort of been to Magic Park and watched a lot of 2,500 to 3,000 FFA Cup games, and it just goes off. To sort of. So maybe that's something that we need to look at.
Yeah, we had
everyone needs to look at just sort of having a boutique stadium type thing. That you can sort of say, well, look, we're playing. Western Sydney bring 8,000 people up. It's all right if Western United play. I think there was only 3 or 4 active support sort of thing. You don't need to open everything up. All the tops of the stands aren't open. It's only the bottom, and it's you're paying a lot of people money that's probably costing the club a lot of money to open up a big ground, when basically you could sort of halve everything and run it on a smaller scale, and perhaps be more successful, budget wise sort of thing. Saves us a bit a day, but that's sort of out of our hands. But I'd love to see something along the lines of that, where we sort of pack a smaller sort of ground and go off sort of things.
We've got a luxury down here with the amount of NPL sides, and 90% of them now have redone their stands and stadiums now. Like Knight Stadium's massive. Avondale are doing theirs at the moment. Bentley Green's not so much. Heidelberg not so much. But like the ABD Stadium and stuff like that, a lot of the NPL sides that do make those upper rounds of the FFA Cup, a lot of the NPL sides from Melbourne that do get to that stage, they sort of move their games depending on where they are to somewhere like an ABD Park that can fit that many people in.
Yeah.
Andy, we'll get to that probably on another time. We're going to start to wrap it
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Obviously, the league expansion, that's an hour podcast in itself, the whole expansion scenario and pros and cons.
Oh, that could
and
be hours and hours and hours.
everything. At the end of the day, all I'll say on that is that I don't see it happening for at least 2 to 5 years. With everything going on now and everything, it's going to be hard.
Although, we will go back to his earlier comment, which is, although lots of unknowns at the moment, but any plans for for the formal fans forum to rally the troops before next season?
No, definitely. These things obviously down with COVID and that depends what's happening down that front. But no, definitely, especially, I'm sure the new owners will want to actually sit down and listen to what the fans want and what the members want as well. Definitely. So, but again, depending on what happens over the next few months, who knows? It changes daily.
Correct. Dylan with another good one. Obviously, must be sitting at home bloody researching all this. Going through all this. What's he put in here? How are we going for a sponsor next season, particularly front of shirt sponsor?
Suppose that's sort of up in the air with.
Well, it is. It is.
I'm speaking to one just now, which came out the blue, which is great. But at the moment, we've actually lost sponsors, and not because the club doesn't need service. It's just because businesses are going broke.
Correct.
Economic,
and it's a very hard time. But I have been approached. I had a meeting last week, got another meeting this week, and it's probably like a sleeve sponsor to the front of the shirt sponsor. It's potential great. So
that's good.
And depending who takes the club, they
Correct.
bring in. If these people have got a big network, they can actually bring sponsors to the club as well.
Exactly.
Which will help.
A bit like Victory, who just rotated through all their their boardroom.
Oh,
Mirabella's had it 1 year. The Fruit Joint had it another year. Friggin' Metricon's got it the other year. They just rotated through that like their boardroom.
Absolutely. We're going to start slowly wrapping it up, and we do thank these guys for jumping on. Do you know much about the point scenario? I sent you a photo earlier. I think it was last night or something.
Yeah.
In regards to how all that works, I couldn't believe it. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's like a point system where obviously it tallies all the teams in Australia, and it's somehow put Avondale above Central Coast Mariners.
Oh, the rankings.
On the rankings of... I could not believe that.
Well, that's good for us because we know people at Avondale.
Yeah, absolutely, which is fantastic for them. I'm just amazed. I don't really know how it works, and I thought if I had you on, you may have an inkling of how you get a point somewhere, whether it's on, I don't know, whether it's on stadium and facilities and whatever, who knows. But yeah, no, I think we're going to wrap it up there. As I said, there's plenty of stuff here we could definitely ask you and continue on, but we'll save that obviously when we get a bit closer to possibly a start date and everything else.
A new owner, new strips.
New owner, new strips. Yeah, I think one of the boys put in
hopefully
here,
new colours.
I think one of the boys put in here, Lawrie prefers a nice orange and pink.
I could go in, Christian.
The pink goalkeeper kits, we've got to keep that because my partner will buy all of them.
Another one in with the Celtic.
New watch.
New watches, yeah.
Yeah.
Get someone else, not yourself.
Jets watches.
Jets watches, yeah, absolutely. Exactly like that. What do we got? When will we see the new kits? October. I don't know. Laurie's he's going to find a kit now.
No, they're getting they're in production now, so we'll not get them. We'll not get them. It'll be like, I would say, November time.
Yeah.
I would think.
Same kit manufacturer.
Yeah, Viva.
Yep.
Yeah.
Viva, but they'll have a change in name. They've got a copyright issue going on, but Viva will still be on all the academy stuff.
Yep.
But the new name will be on so, one we could. I'm just trying to hold.
Make sure the iPad doesn't fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just. Yeah, we could get the new orange strip.
God.
I was going to say, I've seen another one put in here, the whole Celtic. Yeah, I'm sure you were very excited to see that.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
Actually-
it'll probably be a bit November time, I think.
Oh, Ben, I was going to wait for it. I go, you've got, where's ours?
I think you should hang up now, Josh, because he's going to do
Hey,
something.
Joshy.
He's going to do something.
No. It's a good
Joshy,
one.
mate, I think something more along the lines of this.
Ah,
Yeah, the one I made, the one me and the boys got you for your
That's-
birthday.
that's
The one
decent.
that's based off the Jets ACL kit before it became a second kit.
We couldn't get our hands on the ACL shirt, so I made him one.
I got one made for me 30th.
Yeah.
Decent.
But no,
Yeah, because we couldn't get the white ACL shirts, and I wanted one.
Yeah,
That's what they based it off.
right.
bloody, I thought you were going to
I
get a white
painted
Rangers
a
shirt.
t-shirt.
Sorry.
All right, boys.
I painted a t-shirt. The only thing, it was still wet when I put it on to support the ACL. Like I put it on and come in here and watch the game and took it off and had a big red and blue
Red mark.
stripe running across my chest.
Bloody beautiful. No, as I said, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. It is muchly appreciated, and we do thank you guys for your time, especially you, Lawrie, and Toddy. Not so much you, Ben.
Thank you so much.
Nah, I'm always here.
No, absolutely. If you haven't seen Toddy around and you see him at the games, make sure you go say good day and
Yeah, come say good day. Yeah,
absolutely
for
get
sure.
down to the training and sit on the hill and
Go follow a nobody from Newey.
absolutely
on
the
Facebook as well.
Facebook page. Absolutely, jump on there, go like the Facebook page, and you got all the local football and everything on in there. So other than that, Lawrie, mate, muchly appreciated for jumping on.
All right,
Enjoy
boys. Well,
hopefully
thank
a bit
you.
of a break.
Enjoy COVID down there, boys, and
Yeah, thanks,
we'll
mate.
look forward to seeing you very soon.
Sooner
We
rather
hope
than
so.
later, we
Very
hope.
much hope so.
See you, Todd. See you, pal.
So, yeah, thanks so much.
Bye.
No worries, guys. See ya. Alrighty, yeah. Too easy, guys. We do thank the gentlemen. Good stuff, chaps. Well done, Luke. Thanks, Toddy and Lawrie. There we go. So, yeah. I can't thank, obviously, the guys enough. It is muchly
Dude.
appreciated. You'll see Toddy around. You can't miss him. He's decked out in the bloody, was it the pilot hat and the Jets dog,
Yeah,
gold tie, and
Yeah.
you've got it all behind you, and obviously all sitting on the shirts down there, mate. So you do an absolute wonderful job.
Thanks so much.
Nah,
Thanks
thank
for
you,
having
mate.
me on. Been
Too
great.
easy, mate. You take it
It's a
easy.
pleasure, mate.
Yeah, keep in touch. Look after
Will
yourselves
do.
down there.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We're going to wrap it up. And thanks to everyone for the questions. Thanks for everyone for being obviously understanding with everything going on and what have you. What have we got here? What will we do when Lawrie leaves? It's a question
We're
I don't want to think
screwed.
about. It's something I don't want to really think about. And let's just enjoy it while we still can.
Yeah.
Thank you
right
to
in
the
the
IT
big
support
times.
work from Benno. It's going on as we speak.
Yeah, I've got to do it on the fly because when people jump out of Discord, it reorientates where the cameras are.
Correct.
So I have to fix it based on that.
Yeah, exactly. I can sell you an away ACL jersey. Yeah, Chatty, I'll be in touch.
Yeah, how much are you going to destroy my bank balance for that?
Exactly.
That's
right.
probably one of the only reasons. I don't remember why I couldn't get one. I mean, I begged Lawrie for one.
No, we begged him for one. No,
I
they
begged
only
him
really
for one.
produced. Only really produced the squad.
They only really produced enough just for the match.
Yeah. When do we see more FIFA raids, Joshy? Yes, it is
Oh,
coming.
God.
Actually, I've got something coming up with a few of the international lads. So stay tuned for that one.
I know you still haven't told me about that one yet.
So that'll be an interesting one. We'll I'll give
Not
it a
that I
test.
want to be involved.
No, exactly right.
I don't want to be involved, but I'm happy to cast it, be a commentator. I'll commentate it.
Commentator, love it.
I would. I'd commentate it.
Valo beating Adamstown last night. Yeah, righto, Luke. That's enough out of you. Yeah, deal soon, mate. Deal soon. Thank you very much for your questions as well. Obviously, Laurie's going back to the board tomorrow to tell them that a live stream friggin' presentation. I think that'd be absolutely fantastic, especially for us down here in Melbourne. Give us something to watch.
I've got the knowledge and the insight on how to help him set that up.
Loudy, mate. How are we? How are you, mate? What
Has he
politics-
arrived? Has he?
What
No
politics?
politics, no views, lads. Oh, wait, yeah, you laddie.
Love it. Mate, we need to catch up for a beer at some point. Yes, Ben, Commentary represent. But yeah, anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. We do thank you guys. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, be sure to go over and do that. If you haven't liked the Facebook page, be sure to jump over and do that as well. It is muchly appreciated. We'll be back next week. Obviously, the season's starting to wind down, so obviously players and everything else are going to be a little bit more scarce to get. So bear with us. We'll get what we can. Possibly look at teeing up maybe Ian Fife next week. Never played for the Jets or anything like that, but anywhere.
Yes, he did.
Well, he did briefly. A little cameo.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, a little cameo. I wouldn't call it play for the Jets. He come in for an injury replacement. It was a very short injury replacement. But yeah, any sort of players we can get on to have a bit of a chat and about their career and everything else, why not? So, other than that, guys, we're going to leave it there. We do thank everyone. Lockie was in here and the regulars, as always, Aiden and Dylan and Andy and everyone else. So
Lukey boy.
Lukey was here as well. Other than that, we're going to leave it. Thanks to Benno.
Always a pleasure, lad.
Always a pleasure. And, yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. And as always...
We hate Coast Scum.
And because I probably won't be able to say it too much to them, obviously, until we're looking like January...
We hate Coast Scum.
I'll whack one more in there for good measure. We'll catch you guys soon. Take it easy, and we'll see you guys real soon.